Welcome guys, this is Kerbal Space Program 2 and this is actually the first patch. It's just actually come out today and so I thought we'd give it a bit of a run and just sort of see how it goes. I have actually done a quick test on it and it's actually very good. There's a lot of big improvements that have come. Now there's a big long list of about 300 things that have actually been looked at and addressed in the game. There's still a lot of things that still need to be done, some fairly critical, but overall a lot of the problems as such seem to have actually been addressed and fixed. So let's just give it a bit of a run. Let's start a new campaign. We'll just choose a different, choose that one through there. I might change these colors a little bit as well. Just make one of them, I'll just go that side, that'll do. Set the agency colors, the accent color, we might make this one into like a darkish sort of red color or something like this, like a blood red. We'll set those agency colors in through there. Okay, so this will be our colors. We can go and change these. There's no alpha in through here. Eventually I guess that will come, but anyway, let's start the campaign. We don't want to have the first time user experience. This is our second time, so we don't need to do that. I'm also interested to see if my recordings actually stutter as well. So if I'm moving around and stuttering, then that's not what I want to see either, to be honest. So we'll start the campaign, because I did have a lot of trouble. I couldn't stream the game, and I do want to be able to do that. So we'll see what happens, particularly during launch. So we'll actually do some moving around while the game is actually doing different things, just to sort of see if it does actually, if we do get like poor frame rates with what I'm doing. I'm also going to be looking at my little animation in the top to see if that stutters as well. Anyway, let's just go into the VAB. I just want to do a quick test of maybe sort of doing a moon landing or something along those sort of lines. So this one may be a longish video. Let's just go and use a tin can. We'll set this one up as its own lander at this point in time. So we'll just go and grab this one. We'll go and throw in a parachute at the top. So we'll throw that one on board. We will get now the actual landing area for this one. So I'll just put a few different sorts of stages. We'll just go to the tiniest fuel tank. That's probably not going to be big enough. I'll go to the next one along. So I'll place that one there, and then we'll just do a small engine. So we'll just go across and grab one of these Terrier engines. That's the right size. Okay, we'll just scroll on down. What we will do now is actually put in some legs, what are they called? Landing gear. We've got the smalls. Let's have a look at this one. So if we just go and place this one, I'll just press X until we get 4 and around the actual craft itself. That will do us. Okay, so we've now got the 4 landing struts. That's looking good. What else do we need on this thing? Oh, you know what we do need? We need to come back home. And so for that, this is one of the things that I know is not in here. So they don't actually have thermal, and from what I saw, it's not going to come for the next one either. So they're working on patch number 2, and that also doesn't have thermal. But they have fixed, apparently, a lot of the where have we got? We've got that struts. Where's the decouplers? Let's just go to a small decoupler back in through that side, then throw this one on. So this is the coming home aspect. So we've got the parachute. We actually have this one decoupling. Now that's at the same place, which we don't want that happening either. So that's because we've actually now placed this one afterwards. That's not a bug. That's a user error. I'm just going to throw that one in there, and we want to have that one go into that side. So these are how we want these things to sort of then go. We want another decoupler at this point in time in through here. Now we want to have the stage that will then send us to the moon. This is actually to get us down on the moon and to get us back home again. So we'll just get another longish, I don't know if we should go for a bigger engine. I don't think we need to. I think we'll just go with another fuel tank. We'll just go with a small and through that side as well. So we'll just get a bit bigger engine. We'll use the same size rocket at that point. This will be the one that takes us to the Mun, maybe sort of gets us into orbit, and I'm just going to make this a fairly simple craft. I just want to see how stable it all actually is with multiple stages and so on and so forth, where I had a lot of problems last time. So we'll just go back in, just get another small. Let's now make a larger actual launch area, and again I'm going to have to start looking at the delta V to sort of see what we actually have. So we've got 2,500 at this point in time. This still isn't great, to be honest, because it doesn't actually, you can't specify where the delta V will be at different stages. So this will be a long time before this is fixed, I think. There's a lot of things like this. Let's just go back into our fuel tanks. Let's get the medium that goes from small to medium, which is this one here, extends down. Then we'll just get a much larger tank. So we've now got the delta V won't kick in until we put an engine on the bottom of this one. Let's go and put a large medium tank in through there, and then we'll put a big engine on the bottom of this one. So we'll just go to the engines, and we want to go for a medium. Now what have we got? We've got a mainsail, a skipper. What's the 1600? Yeah, this one here, I think. That's large. That's going to be too big. So I'll throw that one in there. We've got 6,000 meters per second delta V now in this thing, which is heaps. That should be heaps to go to the Mun and back. So that is our rocket at this point in time. So fairly sort of basic. What else do we need to do in here? Got all of those. Now when this one here goes, we want that next one to fire. So we'll throw that one into there as well and ditch that one. And then when this one goes, we want that one to fire as well. So we'll just throw those together and ditch that. So that'll be our staging. I think that's fair enough. And then we'll go and get aerodynamics. We'll just go down to the stabilizers, and we'll just go the small. And we're just going to, we've already got the 4 set down through this side. So we'll keep that one there, which is good. I think we're ready. I don't think there's much else. I feel like I'm missing something, that I've actually screwed something else up. 6,000 delta V, that should be okay. Now, one of the things we want is, this is a fairly basic rocket. What I should actually do, just for testing purposes, is just put a couple of solid fuel boosters, because they did cause problems last time. So we'll go and throw that on, just 2 of them. I'm just going to press the C key and bring it back. Oh, hang on, that's not C, the X. Sorry, is it the B? V? No, I don't know what that is actually. Which one takes it down? X. Continues it through. Let's go and do a symmetry mode of 2. So we'll just go with the couplers. We want a side decoupler, probably not a small, might do a medium, I think. So we'll throw these on. Now, one of the problems with these was that they didn't actually have any sort of power to push things away, and I think that they're supposed to have mass impact tolerance. Actually, it doesn't sort of show that they have anything that's actually going to push them away from anything. We'll test it out. It may still not work exactly right. It's more the stability of what's going on that I want to check, because it's now, the rockets are supposed to be much more stable. So let's actually not give it any more. Let's not strut it all up or anything like that, and just sort of see what actually does happen. So we'll just go to the solid fuels, which will be under engines. Solid fuel boosters back in through here. We've got a small, we've got a medium. So that's a small there. That's going to be too big. That one there is way too big. Go this one here. Yep, that's about right. So we're just going to go and throw that one on the side there. It looks good. And we'll just put some nose cones on the top. Now, in reality, I really should strut it, but we'll just see what actually happens without the struts. So we will throw in, I should actually also put these little separatrons just to push it away from the craft when it is time for it to disengage. And so we've got that one there. We want aerodynamics, which is that one through there. We want the nose cones. Now, is that extra small? Nope, that's too small. Small. Here we are. Done. Okay, so we've now got the nose cones back on through that side as well. I think we're ready to go. Now, we haven't really coloured this thing. It all looks, a bit sort of boring, but this is really just a stability test to see how we go. Can we get to the moon and back? So this will be a longish episode, I guess, with what we're doing. Let's just see how we're going to do. We're just going to go to the launch. And we'll just get a bit of a feel. Like, I have got my graphic settings down fairly low. This will be interesting to see if there's stuttering of the animation up in the top corner, and also of me. Actually, it looks pretty good at this stage. Let's just zoom back out again and have a bit of a look. If I just right click so we can sort of see what's going on. Looks good so far. It actually looks better than when I played it last time. So let's just now go and press, now just double check. What we need to do is we need to have this engine fire with these solid fuel boosters. So we'll throw that one down there as well, because otherwise we're not going to have the effect. Now you can see there, this one here, is that going to help or not? They will then disable, and then eventually when the other, so these will then burn out. What we might do is we might just leave the this not on full. We'll leave it on, say, 64. Let's let it go. Here we go, countdown. We can skip it if we wanted to, but I do like it. Delta V 3000, yeah, that's okay, that's fairly good. That should get us close to orbit. Bit of a stutter there. I'm still okay. That's good. That's good. So a bit of a look around. Yep, that's very nice. Very nice. Okay, this is good stuff. Hope the recording looks good. It looks like it is. No stuttering. So we've got reasonable frame rate. My graphics aren't the best. Can double click on things and just sort of reset the look of it. But this is looking good. So I'm just going to now start to lay this thing over onto the side a little bit. So we're 2 kilometres up, and our solid fuel are starting to sort of now run. I don't want to be too far over with the solid fuel when they run out. But this is very stable, I've got to say. It's these haven't wobbled around at all, which is great. Let's wait until they run out, and then we'll sort of start to lay the craft over. See how it goes. A bit of graphic glitching happening up and around here, but that's that's all okay. So the solid fuels are nearly done, and we'll throw them away. And we're already 8 kilometres up. I just wanted to get rid of these before we lay it over too much. We're going to have to lay it over fairly quickly after this. Now press space. It did wobble a little bit with the craft, but that's actually okay. It's still sort of still functioning. It didn't actually break anything. It did actually hit the ship on its way out, so I do need to get those separatrons on, but even so, it's still actually working fairly well. So we're sort of now hitting in the atmosphere, and it's looking like I'm noticing a little bit of stuttering every so often with what I've got there. Let's just move this thing over a little bit, really get it laid over. We're 1 minute 30 away. I'll just do this one manually. 133. So the rate that we're doing is fairly good. You can see there we've got a bit of weirdness there because we're actually travelling up. We're not travelling sideways, so it's giving us false information with the aerodynamics. So that was a bit weird. It's almost the opposite way because we're still actually facing right up. But let's actually just keep it going. We've got an apoapse of nearly 70, so I do want to start to reduce the speed, and I want to bring this one down to probably around about, say, 40 seconds. So I'll just go a little bit sort of more gentle with this, and we'll just keep it sort of going. So we're now 75 apoapse. So it hasn't been a very efficient burn, but it's stable, which is great. Let's have a bit of a look and see what else happens. Now there's a few other things we need to have a bit of a look at. Some other things weren't working very well. I just want to keep this right on this line here if I can. Particularly this one here. I want to sort of keep on pushing that one back onto the line. Now we've still got 1 minute 40. I might just reduce this down even more. Just go to say 12. I'll just do it manually. And this one was going to be fine. Just keep on moving it. So we're just dribbling it along. Well, this one now we're up to 80 already, so we're actually pushing it even higher. I'm going to probably get into an orbit of around about 100. Just move it over to the side. We've got a long way to go with the periapsis at this point in time. We just want to get the time backwards to around about, say, 40 seconds. That would be ideal. So it's actually still going up. I might turn it off for a little while just to wait for the time to come back in. So we'll just do this one manually. It wasn't a very good launch, but anyway, it'll do with what we've done. So again, it's looking great. God, it's a good looking program. I mean, it looked good. It was just so buggy with what it did do, but that was good. The separation did actually work. It was a bit slow from when I actually pressed it. But it did what it had to do, which was good. So I'm happy with that. I've still got 1 minute 18 coming through, and then we're going to have to start to sort of push pretty hard with this craft to get other things going. Now it does have gear. Now we're still actually in the atmosphere, so I don't want to sort of start to tweak anything just yet. 1 minute away now. and we'll start to sort of push a little bit harder once we get a bit closer to the apoapse. And then the periapsis, we have to push this one out to around about, it's all going to be about 100 by the time we finish this one, I would think. Okay, we won't sort of speed up time or anything, we'll just let it run forward. So we're 70 away, now we're in space. 53 away now from the I can speed up time if I wanted to a little bit. I might just do that a little bit. So that's about 40 seconds away now. Whoops, didn't want to pause. The pausing and unpausing is good. That actually worked out well. Let's now just sort of start this thing and try to keep this at around about the 40 seconds. It's going backwards. Let's push it up. We just want to keep this one maybe even pointing down a little bit, just to keep it around that 80 kilometers thereabouts. Slowing down. Let's push it out a little bit further. Still slowing down. Let's go even more. This is starting to come up. Let's really blast it now, because this is still going backwards. Okay, we're right on it now. We are bringing this one up now, which is the periapsis is starting to sort of now come up towards it. This is fine. Oops. I've now gone out to 6 minutes, and we actually have got an apoapse of 98 in 6 minutes. Let's speed up time. And just move it across into that particular location. So we're again only a few seconds away, and then we'll just push the periapsis up into an orbit. So 4 minutes away. Now I'm going to be needing to maneuver the craft around. It's still fairly heavy. We've only got like a small, about 328 delta V on this one, so we need to use the rest of that. Just push the ship over. We're using reaction wheels, which is very, very slow to do this. So I'm slowly pushing the D key to get this thing to then line up. We're still 2 minutes away. So we did actually just push it a little bit too hard there. So I'll just lay it over. Now what I could do is actually just tell it to stay on prograde, which means it's going to then look for that particular symbol and just try to sort of stay where that is. So it's now going to use the reaction to then come back up again. Still 2 minutes away. Here it comes, slowly moving up. Now, one thing that's not happening at the moment, I don't know what's happening with the electrical. It doesn't seem to be sort of working at all. Thermal isn't working at all yet as well. Still 2 minutes. Let's just speed up time a little bit until we sort of bring it in a little bit closer. So 10 times speed. Now again, I just want to make sure that we keep on that prograde marker. So as it comes back in, I'll just speed up time again. This is what KSP1 used to do as well. Just go a bit faster. Okay, so we're just a few seconds away now. Yeah, we are going on the prograde, so we'll just keep that prograde working. And we'll just start to now push this one out a little bit. Now it's 64. So this is blasting out. We've now hit the orbits at 70. So that's now technically in orbit. So we've now in orbit around Kerbal. And that's great. God, it is a beautiful looking program, actually, I've got to say. And we'll just do a little bit more of a push. There we go, we've got up to 100 there. We're still 2 minutes away. If I keep on getting closer to the apoapse, I can then circularize, but this is still in orbit, that'll do. Right, map time, M. Have a quick look. This is the next problem we had, was actually going into the sphere of influence of the MUN. The MUN is going to be our target. I'm going to go and click on that one and set that one as a target. I'm just going to go and guess where I think I need to go, and I think it just happens to be where we've got this, I forget what the AN and DN sort of stand for, but this is essentially where the orbits cut, and it's around about here anyway. Let's create a maneuver plan. Now this was very buggy last time. It was a real pain in the ass. So let's just see if this now works. Let's just go and set this one up. I'm just going to pull this one forward. Now we've only got 300 odd delta V with the current engine, which is a powerful engine. Then we've got a weak engine. Now we'll just move that one. Actually, we do get this is good. Okay, we now have this, which is great. So we've got this maneuver is going to take 800 odd. Let's just pull this one back a little bit and just get it close to the orbits. It's still actually reasonable there. We now can see where it's going to go in relation to the target. And so this is actually good, and we can now start to pull this one back around and just see if we can get this one closer. So let's just go this side a little bit. It looks like that's about the best we're going to get right there. Let's just pull this one back a little bit. Okay, so we're still actually getting an entry point there. What about if we go a little bit further back? Yeah, it pulls it back even more. So this is now still 800 odd. Let's just go a bit more, so we then get a little bit closer to everything. So what we can do is we can then sort of just do a maneuver. If I start to drag this thing around, I may be able to get it closer to the planet, but it's not really doing much. Let's just do it for there. Okay, so let's now just go across. We'll press M and have a look again. So this is now the sunset. We'll do a maneuver out around to it. Now we just want to have this one pointing in the direction of the maneuver node. Now it's going to have to do a bit of work just to swivel across to that particular location. We'll let that happen, and then we'll speed up time and actually go to the maneuver node and then blast off. So it's actually just now resetting the actual angle of the craft to get ready for the burn to the mun. Then we'll sort of see how we go. Now, I've only got a small amount of fuel left on this particular stage, and then we'll sort of see what actually does happen. I thought we'd actually lose this stage on the way up, but we actually have been able to get into orbit with this stage, so that's all fine. It'll be interesting to see if we end up with the bugs that we've had in the past with these. It's the end of the sun, or Kerbal is the name of that one, and there's the node that we have to then point towards, and we'll just wait for it to get there, because when we speed up time, we want it ready to go. So that's the target node or maneuver node from what we had just set up. And there we are. Let's speed up time and go round to the actual to the warp to the maneuver. Now we're going to be a little bit of a problem when we sort of get things going. We're going to flip underneath ourselves for this one, but we're still on that maneuver node all the way through as we come through. There we are. We just hit the sunlight again. It is smooth, I've got to say. This is very smooth. Now we've got a yep. So it's now proximity to the celestial body is now sort of changed. We've got 46 seconds. I'm going to start it now actually, because this is going to actually I might start it at say 20 seconds, because we're going to burn through this one very, very quickly, and then we're going to have so I might actually go back to the map mode and just watch what actually happens through here. And so as we get closer, I can then actually see what's going to happen in reality with what's going to happen with this particular burn. So 30 seconds away, it's going to be a 52-second burn. Now, the next engine is really, really weak in comparison. This engine is a much weaker engine. So what I could have done was actually ditch this whole stage, but we want to use everything. So 20 seconds, let's just go and press the Z key. So it's now burning away. It's going through the engine. Now we've just used it. Let's go back to the map and just watch what actually happens here. Push that one, and then we're going again. Now we have a much lower engine, and so we've now got a bigger burn. 52 seconds. This is great. Okay, so we're now seeing a difference in through there, and the total delta V required is now starting to push out. Now we can just eyeball this one a little bit and just sort of see when it gets close to what we want, and we can then sort of start to just manipulate the what's actually happening. So as this one goes, it's going to accelerate pretty quickly when we get close to this particular area, and we may be able to just tweak that a little bit based on what we're doing through here. So we're still actually going through the maneuver node. It's about the same now as the prograde as well. And I'm just going to press the X key when we get a bit closer, and then we're just going to manually do it. It's saying 16 more seconds, 15. This will actually give me a countdown as well, which is good. Now that's actually not bad. Where we are right now is actually not too bad. So I don't want it to go any more than that. I'm happy with that. So let's go and get rid of this thing. Hang on. Click. I'll be very careful what I do here. I need to see this, and then I'll get rid of that one. Now we actually have a maneuver node through here. Let's go and set this up so we can just quickly have a look. So this is actually now working properly. If we go retrograde this time, so we're now just going to slow it down, and I think just to double check that, I can just go and place a maneuver plan in through here and just see what happens if I do go retrograde. No, that actually goes the other way. If I go prograde, it actually pushes it closer to the planet, sorry, to the Mun. So that actually gets me much closer. So we'll do that instead. We'll just go and ditch this particular node. The earlier I do these maneuvers, the less fuel I use. So we're now going to go not retrograde, but prograde. So that's going to then flip the craft around. It's much more maneuverable now with everything we've actually got. So we'll just have it now pointing prograde. Go back to the map so we can just sort of see what's going on with this. And we're just going to slowly just press the shift a little bit, or I can even just grab this and just go and just give it a little bit extra. And we just watch this one come back in. I don't need it to go too much. I'm happy enough with that, actually. Just leave that one there. And then that then takes us into we enter at that location there. So we've got a periapsis essentially, which is coming out through this side, and then we exit. So this is actually the entering the sphere of influence of the Mun, and then exiting the sphere of influence back in through there, which is what we see through this side. That's the entry and the exit. So what we'll do is we'll just go and put we'll just time warp to that particular point. Now we'll just press M, and so we can watch it in all its beautiful glory. There it goes, smashing its way through towards the Mun. That was really fast. Now I do want to do this one reasonably quickly because I just want to. This is a test. It's not something where I'm trying to. Why can't we sort of zip around with this one? There we go. It's just a bit all over the place. But anyway, this is now pointing towards the Mun. If we have a quick look, we'll now sort of see that we actually are inside this area. Let's now go retrograde, and it should take us, so the craft is now maneuvering. I love this as well, so you can sort of see which way it's pointing. And so now we're now pointing back towards the retrograde. I'm just going to, if I just press shift, this should bring the, if I just press a little bit of this, we should see the periapsis come in as I do this. So I'm just doing this manually. And so I want to see the periapsis come in from 300 down to a small, we're getting all sorts of other weird and wonderful things actually happening through here. I'm going to stop this at around about, say, 30 or 40. I did have some problems originally. I won't take it down below 10 because it did actually, I don't want to risk what happened last time where it thought it had landed. Just getting nice and close. So 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 36 will be good. All right, that then takes us in where we've now got a periapsis there. Let's just go and click on the periapsis, create a maneuver plan, and we'll just now reduce this one down until we get ourselves an orbit. And when that flips, like there, that's going to be 11 actually, the apoapse. So let's go and make that one a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's not quite right. This still doesn't work for me. I don't know why. Oh, hang on, there we go. Apoapse 64. So this one's not quite doing what I want it to do. I'm just going to move this one back around. And so I can actually sort of flip this one just a little bit back in from there. Then if we just pull this one back slightly until we get the flip. Now we're starting to get the flip there. Actually, that should be still okay. Again, if I just go and click on that one through there. Oops, hang on. Where is it? The apoapse is 43, and the periapsis is 36. That'll be fine. So we'll just now warp to that maneuver. We'll just have a quick look because it does look very, very nice when you are going towards the Mun. We're going to point towards the maneuver node. So we'll get ready for this particular action, and so we now sort of got it zoomed in there. Let's warp to that maneuver, and we'll just watch and see, is there any stuttering? No, I don't think so. I think it's all working. Great. Excellent. Even with going close to the actual surface, it still actually looked like it was performing well. This is good, guys. This is very, very good. Now, we've got 39 seconds before we do this one. It's a 16-second burn. I will just do it using the actual maneuver node here from this particular view. Again, we just sort of tested it. It did seem to stutter a little bit there, but nothing too bad now. So it's looking okay. That's looking good. Actually, one thing I forgot to do was electrical, but I don't think the ship uses electrical anyway, to be honest. I don't think electrical is working at this point in time. Bill Kerman is looking happy. I've got 12 seconds, 11. Now we'll see the dots will then come down. This has actually changed a little bit as well. So we now get a bit of an idea as to what things are happening with timing. Here we go, dots coming in, Z, fire this one off. And so when this one hits the 0, we'll then just sort of let it, and we'll see the apoaps coming in. Now, it's a bit risky letting it go all the way in like this. I'm better off letting it come close, like there, and then just using a little bit just to bring it in myself. So I did actually miss it a little bit. We're now down to 37.25. We're still in orbit, which is great. So we're now in orbit around the MUN. Just press M again, and we'll just get rid of that particular maneuver node. Delete. And so this is now our orbit. Let's go around to, say, here. And I don't think I'll bother doing an actual maneuver. I'll just do this one now manually. Let's go and eyeball this one. I'm going to ditch this stage when we actually have it all set up. So we're just going to time warp to that point. That's going to then send us around the dark side of the MUN. So we're now sort of hitting the dark side. It's very hard to see the ships. I wish there was a way to, I guess I should put lights on the ships just so when we go around these areas. I should test it that way actually to see if there's electrical on that aspect. We actually got the, there we go. There's the, that's where we are. So we're now around the other side of the MUN and traveling essentially in a prograde at this point in time. We want to go retrograde now. So we're just going to flip the ship around and we will just start to burn. And then what we'll do is we'll ditch this bottom stage. So once we're in the retrograde, which we are now, let's just start to slow this ship down. So we're just going to push shift a little bit, and we're just going to wait until we see the periapsis disappear into the actual surface. Now I've got a heap of fuel. Actually, I don't have a heap of fuel anymore on this one, so I've got a little bit of fuel. This is now burning a little bit, slowing itself down. We're now going to crash into the actual surface. Let's just keep it going just for a little bit longer. We're still a long way up. So we're just doing prograde. And we'll just do this all the way down to the surface now. Let's just press X. And at this point in time, let's separate at this point. So we do actually have some color, some variations there with the way the sun's hitting the different areas. It may just because I've got the graphics down very, very low. Bang, separation was okay. It's a bit shitty, but that was actually okay. Let's see if gear works. This didn't work last time. G. Yes, it works. Great. Awesome. We are ready to land. So we're a long way up. I just want to keep going in the retrograde. There goes that other bits and pieces. So they're sort of now falling further down towards the surface. If we have a look at the map, they'll actually be traveling with us. So they're actually sort of just a little bit below us. They're going to sort of crash and burn eventually. We're going to we're heading around into here. Now what we might do is we might actually just I'll just go and set a target here. Let's just time warp to this point and just go back and press M. So we're now zipping through and we're going to land in this great big flat area. Now when we come out of time warp, there we go, we've got other things which are going to then crash. This is flipping around because it's trying to now establish itself with the retrograde. It will fix itself up in just a second. It's just reaction wheels is all it can use at this point in time, so it just was flipping around. That's okay. It's not a bug. I mean, it's sort of a bug, but it's not a bug I'm worried about. I sort of half expect those sorts of things to happen. And now we're ready now for our landing. What we can do is just press the Q and E keys just to sort of move it so that we end up with the ground below us. So we'll just do it this way, just so we end up with the ground below. Just for context, it's going to make it a little bit easier if the blue is above us. And There's a few things I can do here. Now I've got a lot of delta V here, and we can see the other craft is sort of now about 2 kilometers away. Let's start to burn now, and I'm going to now change this to just, I'm just going to lock this one in. I'm just going to manually maneuver this one so that we end up sort of stopping the craft. And I'm going to use the map this time to then have a bit of a look to see what we're actually doing. So let's just zoom on in. So I want us now stop the craft by just literally, I'm 10 kilometers up. Let's do this, and so we'll see where this thing comes in fairly close to where we are. It's going to then stop the orbit. I can do this pretty much any which way. It's going to sort of still work out okay whenever I do anything. But I'm just going to do it, and then we're just going to come almost sort of straight down on top of this thing. There we are, 200 meters per second, and that'll do us. Okay, so now when we have a look, we're sort of now going to be heading straight down. These things are now further up than us. We're now going to go into the retrograde. We'll do a quick landing. So, and I can speed up time. We're still 5 kilometers up. We're traveling at 200. I'm just going to press F5, and that should have now done a quick save if I just press escape and load game. Yep, awesome. It didn't interrupt anything. This is good. This is really, really positive. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Now we're just going retrograde the whole way, and I want to then try to manage this so that when we get to around about, say, 2 or 1.5 kilometers, I'm going to start to burn a little bit to then push it so that we end up coming in for our landing. So we'll just sort of have it coming in this way. So we'll just now start to put this up, and I want to see this one slow down fairly quickly before this one actually hits the 0. Need to do a bit more. So this one has to stop, almost stop. So we're coming in. It's going to slow down a lot. This is actually a fairly good one, actually. Now we're down to 10. I'm just going to keep it coming. Now we're sort of almost going to be going straight down. So let's now just do it, and we just need to maintain this one under 10 as we come down for the landing. So I'm just going to do this one just by moving it up. Now it is using fuel doing this. Just reduce it slightly. We're going a bit too slow. So I'm going to keep this one, as I say, just a little bit lower. 40 odd away. We'll just move it up a little bit. There we go. We're seeing it actually now hitting the dust. Let's just ramp this up a little bit. And done. Just want to press X, and we're bouncing around. So it wasn't fantastic, but we got there in the end. And I did forget to put on any way to actually get onto the surface. I'm not going to bother actually getting out. I just wanted to see if that actually worked. That worked out quite well, actually. If we now just go and press and unclick this one, it should then restabilize itself. If we turn the SAS off, there it goes, and then we'll turn the SAS back on again. Okay, let's have a look and see where we are. So we have now landed on the Mun. We're now going to be pressing off towards the west, I think, which is which way? That way there, I think. It's no, the east. So we're going to go sort of straight up. From where we actually are in this side. Let's just go and press M again. So I should really test to see what happens if we do get out of the craft, but I don't think I'll bother. Let's we just want to get home now, so we're just going to go and press Shift, and then we're just going to start to lay this thing over straight away. So you can see him sort of just moving around inside the cabin. One thing I forget how to actually put the inside view. There is a way to do it, but I just can't remember how to do it. Anyway, just going to press Shift. We need to burn this one pretty hard. And we're just going to find the 90, which I'm pretty sure is that one through there on the nav ball. So this is going to be, we're going to use the, essentially W in this case, to sort of push that one up. So let's go and do that. So we leave. I'm going to push this one over. So we now move away. and we want to get the Apo apps up. And we want to start to move all of these. So we'll just go now and press Z. Just go full bore. Get the Apo app sort of really working away. Just slightly up a little bit. Get to around about, say, 10 kilometers plus with the Apo apps. So there we go. Looks great. God, it's a good looking game. Now we're a minute away. It's 10 kilometers. Thereabouts. Okay, we'll just leave that one. We're still not in orbit. We've got very little. We're not going to actually make it. I didn't leave enough fuel to get home. Anyway, this is the test has worked. I'm actually very happy with the results of this. This actually does look very good. So that is. I mean, we are now screwed, to be honest. I don't think I can do anything with what I've got left. I've got 85 delta V left. Can I get into orbit? I don't even know if I can get into orbit. Let's have a look and see. If we go to, say, here, just time warp to that point. So it's sort of slowly time warping. And then we'll just do this one manually and just see if we can somehow get the periapsis up. Otherwise, we're going to have a horrible time. Okay, so we're now here. Again, we've got the tumbling happening because the stabilizer is trying to sort of fix itself up. It will do it fairly soon. Okay, and then I'm just going to go, it's just got the normal stabilizer. Let's just go and bring this one back. All right, so we'll now just go and Z. Come on, come on. No, not going to make it. Not going to make it. Close, very close. Let's have a look and see where we're going to crash. Not that far away, unfortunately. All right, let's go to here. Time warp to that point, and then we'll just watch it in all its glory. We might as well pop the stage here when we sort of come out of this one. So yeah, we're not really sort of facing any which way. Let's just drop that stage there. Actually, we are still going fast. Let's bring it back to normal speed. We're 5 kilometers up, and we've now ditched that stage. In we go. Got our heat sensors on. We're going to go and do the retrograde. It's not going to help us at all. We can try to pop the parachute, but it's not going to do anything without an atmosphere. And poor old Bill is going to cop it in this instance. Let's just go and speed up time a little bit till we get closer to the ground. So he's going to hit these ridges that are coming up. 3 kilometers. 2 kilometers, 1 kilometer. Okay, we'll just go and have a bit of a look at this one here. So we're coming in hot at 460 meters per second. And that'll be the end of this particular test, but it's a successful test. That's all we wanted to do, was just see if it was actually, if we could record without any issues whatsoever, and it was all just user error. Now there are some graphic glitches I'm seeing when I'm doing different things. That's me, that's my problem, because I set the graphics very, very low. And in we go, and kaboom, there we are. So there we are, that's the end of it. Anyway, guys, that's a successful test, I think. So thanks for watching. I will leave it there, and yeah, that was good. That was fun. I'll catch you next time.